welcome to the African News on VOP TV. I am Fina Chiku. After nearly a week of growing public discontent, the Togolese presidency announced that the controversial constitutional reform bill will be tabled again in parliament. In a statement unveiled on March 29th, the office of President Farouk Gnassingbé invokes the interest aroused by the adoption of the bill and the perfectible nature of the law to justify the request for a second reading. The legislation initially passed by Parliament on March 25th has faced criticism from opposition parties who viewed it as a ploy to consolidate Gnassingbe's domination over the structure of power in Togo. Gnassingbé has ruled the country since 2005. Before that, his father was in charge. The proposed constitution grants Parliament the power to choose the president, doing away with the direct elections. This makes it likely that Gnassingbé would be re-elected when his mandate expires in 2025. The passport application fees in Ghana has been hiked after a proposal by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. The standard application fee for 32 pages now costs 500 Ghana cedis, while the expedited application fee for the 32 pages costs 640 Ghana cedis. A list of the new prices were posted on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration website. These passport application fees have been hiked by over 500% in some cases. For the 48-page application, the fee has gone from 150 Ghana cedis to 644 Ghana cedis, while the expedited fee for the 48-page application is now 800 Ghana cedis. The new prices are listed on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration website. The president of Liberia, Joseph Nyuma Boakai, emphasized his commitment to serving Liberia during a ceremony on Friday, March 22nd, 2024. He clarified that his presidency is not about the trapping of power, but about building a better country for the Liberian people. Addressing newly appointed officials from various ministries and agencies, President Boakai urged donors and partners to respect Liberia's sovereignty, emphasizing that handouts are not the country's destiny. He expressed confidence in the government's ability to move the nation forward, highlighting the importance of leadership that prioritizes commitment to the country's progress. President Boakai reminded his officials of their duty to the Liberian people, emphasizing the government's pledge to provide opportunities for livelihoods, access to education, clean water, infrastructure development, and economic growth. He underscored the progress made in just 2 months, citing engagement with stakeholders, particularly in the energy sector, to ensure affordable electricity for all Liberians. Political parties in Mali have requested a time frame for presidential elections after the ruling junta failed to organize polls within a promised 24-month transition back to democracy. Mali has been under military rule since August 2020, the first of 8 coups in West and Central Africa over 4 years, including in the neighbors Burkina Faso and Niger. Regional blocs have been trying to negotiate a transition, but the interim governments are dragging their feet. Furthermore, in a joint statement late on Sunday, some of Mali's main political parties and civil society groups called on authorities to set up an institutional framework for polls as soon as possible. Meanwhile, junta-led Chad is scheduled to hold the first round of a presidential election next month in what will be the first of the region's military governments to restore constitutional rule in the area. The Western diplomats have made a resounding commitment to tackle urgent humanitarian issues in the conflict-stricken eastern region of Congo. The pledges were announced during a ceremony at Geneva City Hall, highlighting a united front in combating sexual violence, food insecurity, and famine conditions. Hosted in Geneva, renowned for its global solidarity, the event symbolizes years of advocacy by Geneva Corps, a humanitarian group dedicated to protecting civilians in conflict zones. Despite President Felix Tshisekedi's effort to quell violence during his initial terms. Challenges persist in eastern Congo. The pledges from Western envoys reflect a concerted push to address the deep-rooted issues facing the region. Alain Delatros, Geneva's co-director general, stressed the significance of these commitments as guiding examples for other groups. The Geneva call will closely monitor compliance and discreetly address any violation with groups' leaders, while the organizations retain the option to revoke commitment if persistent issues arises. Such action has never been taken in any other country. The ceremony held in Geneva's Alabama Rue, a city hall, took place beneath a historic painting commemorating the signing of the First Geneva Convention in 1864. The setting served as a poignant reminder of the enduring commitment to humanitarian principles and the international cooperation in times of conflicts. Meanwhile, Somalia underwent significant constitutional changes on Saturday, granting the president authority to appoint and dismiss the prime minister. The decision, endorsed by a substantial majority of parliament, came after intense debates within the Federal Assembly in Mogadishu. Proposed by the Independent Constitutional Review and Implementation Commission, ICRIC, the amendments underwent thorough scrutiny. Oseni, chairperson of the Constitutional Review Committee, announced that 3 draft provisions concerning region would undergo further review to align with Somali principles. These amendments, under review for nearly a decade, gained momentum in the late 2023. They aim to address long-standing disputes in Somali politics, particularly power struggles between presidents and the prime ministers, often fueled by constitutional ambiguities. One significant change established a president-appointed prime minister, replacing the previous requirements for parliamentary confidence votes. These adjustments seek to provide more flexibility in governance, addressing tensions over power and resource distribution among clans and regions. You're watching the African News on VOP TV. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to African News on VOP TV. In the first half of the budget year, the government has neared its maximum borrowing limit, despite the decision passed to borrow only from the central bank as a last resort and not exceed a 1/3 increase over the previous year. It was declared by the National Bank of Ethiopia, NBE, the country's central bank, last August that direct advances DA to the government will be drastically reduced in the current fiscal year, limiting such lending to only 1/3 of the previous year's levels. According to the Ministry of Finance, MOF, in its recent debt bulletin, reviewing the first half of the 2023-2024 fiscal year, a DA of 37 billion birr was obtained, raising the total to 167 billion birr as of December 31st, 2023, from 130 billion birr on June 30th, 2023. The NBE project added that the increased DA for the budget year would be around 40 billion birr. The primary aim of reducing DA alongside other measures is to curb inflation, with the central bank noting that the monetary policies implemented in August are starting to yield results. During this period, resources were also provided through the Treasury bond established in late 2022 and the T-bills. In the country's capital, Addis Ababa, Ethiopian Muslims gathered in large numbers for the annual Grand Street Iftar, the meal traditionally shared when breaking the fast during Ramadan. Preparation for the events were underway throughout Wednesday, and members of the community came together to break bread later on Thursday, celebrating the spirit of togetherness during Ramadan. Muslims worldwide are observing the holy month with acts of worship, charity, and fasting from dawn to dusk. Organizers of the mass iftar had expected a significant turnout, reflecting the event's increasing popularity over the past 4 years. Hikma Sani, a 17-year-old participant and volunteer, coordinator highlighted the significance of community spirit during Ramadan and the obligation to support one another throughout the fasting month. The exact date of the Grand Street Iftar is determined by the sighting of the crescent moon, typically falling on the 17th day of Ramadan. This date holds special significance for Ethiopian Muslims as it commemorates the 17th century victory of Prophet Muhammad and his followers in the Battle of Badr, as explained by Abu Bakr Ahmed, a respected Islamic scholar and the coordinator of the Grand Street Iftar. The Independent Electoral Commission has declared that former South African President Jacob Zuma cannot run in the upcoming elections, citing constitutional restrictions. Zuma, who served from 2009 to 2018, faces disqualification due to a previous prison sentence of 15 months for defying a court order. Zuma, 81, has until April 2nd to challenge the Commission's decision. Despite being barred from public office, he has emerged as a key figure in the Umkhonto Muwesiweze party, abbreviated as MK, which is gaining traction ahead of the elections. The new party, named after the former military wing of the ANC, has become a contender in South African politics, with Zuma at its prominent face and primary speaker at rallies. The emergency of the NK party marks a significant shift in South Africa's political landscape as Zuma breaks away from the African National Congress ANC, which he once led. The legal battles between the ANC and the NK party continues, with disputes over the party's name and logo unfolding in courts. The residence of Libyan Prime Minister Abdul Mahid Debiha has targeted with rocket-propelled grenades in an attack that left no casualties. A Libyan minister has told another news agency, not VOP TV. The minister, who spoke on condition of anonymity, confirmed in a message on Sunday that the attack only caused some damage. The minister has not disclosed any further details. Libya has had little peace or stability since a 2011 NATO-backed uprising and split in 2014 between eastern and western factions, with rival administrations governing each area. Libya'S government of national unity was appointed through a UN-backed process in 2021, but the parliament in the east stopped recognizing its legitimacy at the end of that year after a failed attempt to hold national elections, which led to prolonged political deadlock. A letter from Tunisia President Kais Saied was delivered to President Mohamed Menfi of the Presidential Council by the Tunisian ambassador to Libya, Assad al-Ajili. According to the PC head media office, discussions were held between Menfi and al-Ajili regarding cooperation and the enhancement of the Maghreb space to achieve economic and political integration among member states. The statement also highlighted the depth of bilateral relations between the two countries in various fields, primarily political and security cooperation, as well as border security. Details of President Said's letter was not provided by Menfi's media office. Earlier this month, Said disclosed his intention to hold meetings with Libyan and Algerian officials to discuss regional cooperation and solidarity among Maghreb states. Egypt President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is due to start his third term in office on Wednesday, beyond by massive fresh financing. Sisi won December's presidential election with 89.6% of the vote, standing against three unknowns. He is said to begin his third term officially, with local media reporting that he will swear the oath before Parliament the day before. This six-year term is said to be the 69-year-old last, unless another constitutional amendment again prolonged his tenure. Pundits have speculated about a potential cabinet reshuffle as Cairo struggled to contain the fallout from 2 years of punishing economic crisis and dire foreign currency shortages. You are still watching the African News on VOP TV, business and sports news after the break. Welcome back to the news. Now to business. In a significant development for regional trade relations, Kenya and Uganda have reached an agreement to end a long-standing dispute over oil imports. Uganda's state oil firm, UNOC, will now be permitted to import petroleum products through Kenya's port of Mombasa, marking a shift from previous arrangements where Ugandan oil retailers receive their cargo through affiliated firms in Kenya. This resolution comes after Uganda explored alternative import routes, including through a Tanzanian port, with Kenya granting UNOC's license to import through Mombasa. The first shipment under this new system is expected to occur in May, signifying a positive step towards enhancing trade cooperation between the two neighbors. Still in business. In response to soaring cocoa prices and global market conditions, Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has announced a significant increase in the official cocoa farm gate price. The price will rise from 1,000 CFA francs per kilogram to 1,500 CFA francs per kilogram, effective immediately. This decision, made following a government meeting, reflects President Ouattara's commitment to ensuring fair compensation for cocoa growers amidst a period of heightened market demand and supply challenges. Despite earlier proposal for a lower price range, the president opted for a high rate, acknowledging the exceptional circumstances facing cocoa producers and aiming to provide them with the best possible compensation. The decision to raise the cocoa farm gate price underscores the Ivorian government's recognition of the challenges faced by cocoa farmers amid global market dynamics. While cocoa prices have surged over the past year due to factors such as disease and adverse weather conditions, the official farm gate price in Ivory Coast has not kept pace. President Ouattara's decision to increase the price reflects a concerted effort to support cocoa producers and address their financial concerns amidst a period of market volatility. This move is expected to have significant implications for the Ivorian cocoa industry and the livelihoods of millions of cocoa farmers in the country. And in sports, the first leg of the 2024 Olympic Games qualifier between the Super Falcons of Nigeria and the African champions, Bayana of South Africa, was set into motion as Bayana arrived in Abuja Sunday. The arrival marked the commencement of their preparation for the crucial match against the Super Falcons. Under the guidance of coach Desiree Ellis, the South African team had initiated their training regime in Pretoria the previous week, with the expectation of foreign-based players joining the camp today. The upcoming match, scheduled for Friday, will take place at the Moshid Abiola Stadium in Abuja. Following this encounter, the team will face each other once more in the reverse fixture next Tuesday in Pretoria. The victorious side will secure a spot in Group C at the Paris 2024 Olympics. Still in sports, South Africa coach Hugo Broos has revealed that the Bafana are not intimidated by the Super Eagles and other teams in Africa as they prepare for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Bafana will be visiting the Super Eagles of Nigeria on June 3rd before hosting Zimbabwe a week later. Currently, the Bros-led team holds the second position on the log, trailing leaders Rwanda by a point. Nigeria and Zimbabwe, their opponents in June, are placed 3rd and 5th respectively, both with 2 points, following the team's impressive 3-3 draw against Algeria in a friendly game. Bros expressed his ambitions to qualify South Africa for the 2026 World Cup, asserting that he doesn't foresee any team hindering his dream. And that is it on the African News on VOP TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Voice of the People TV and on other media platforms at VOP TV Live. Join our subsequent bulletins at 4 and 9 p.m. respectively. I am Fina Chuku. Thanks for watching.